Okay, I'm ready. LinkedIn just announced LinkedIn Live, a live streaming video service inside their newsfeed. But will anyone use it? LinkedIn expert Melanie Dodaro joins the show today to discuss the best performing post types on LinkedIn. Plus, we want to hear from you in our question of the day. How important is LinkedIn to your business model? Let us know in the comment section whether you're watching live or on the replay. Welcome to the show. It's Social Media Lab Live.
Are you ready to use science to bust some myths in the social media ecosystem?
Great Scott!
Welcome to the Social Media Lab Live, brought to you by Agorapulse, where our social media scientists experiment on real accounts to crack the code on social media success for your business.
Type 5 to subscribe to the show.
Join us live every Thursday at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. Now your hosts, Owen Video and Scott Ayres.
Welcome back to Social Media Lab Live, where we're cracking the code to find out what's working and what's not working with social media. I'm Owen Video, marketing coach and live host extraordinaire, here with content scientist and social media expert Scott Ayres. And we are live on Facebook and on YouTube every Thursday at 9 a.m. PST. And you can give me 5. That's right. Type 5 into the comment section now if you're watching on Facebook. That will subscribe you to the show. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe on YouTube for weekly social media tips. Hey, if you're watching the replay, type replay in the comment section now so we can ping you back and say hello. Ladies and gentlemen, please like bomb with ferocious tenacity. Give it up, please, for my co-host today. He's a content scientist. He's a hair enthusiast, and with data, he's the grooviest. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Scott Ayres.
Hey, I'm excited about today's show. My hair is, I think, on point, and we're ready to talk about LinkedIn, the old social network that's like your uncle who's been around forever, but he's still very, very reliable. So I'm excited to talk about it. I think LinkedIn is in the news a lot right now because of the new live video option that they are in beta test on.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see who gets first access to that. I think the first one who hops on it and kind of builds an audience around it is going to kill it. But it'll be interesting. It's different. Yeah, it's going to be different. So I'm excited to talk about today's show.
Super excited about live video on LinkedIn, right? Because I know for someone like me, an avid live streamer, and I talk about business topics, you know, this is a perfect platform for me. Sometimes on Instagram, sometimes on Facebook, you struggle to find, you find your audience while they're on Facebook, but there's a large, very active video community already on LinkedIn. So I'm very interested to see how LinkedIn Live is going to perform. I'm jealous, right? I was hoping for my golden ticket in the mail, and I haven't got it yet. But do you have LinkedIn Live, Scott? Do you have it accessed yet?
I don't. I looked yesterday really hard for some. I'm like, I got 9,000 connections. Give me access, but
I know.
Nothing yet. I guess they don't like me, so
I'm
I have
curious
to pay somebody maybe.
I'm curious to see if our friends like Judy Fox is a LinkedIn video enthusiast. Jack Kozakowski, I know, is a LinkedIn video guy. I'm curious to see. I mean, and they're getting thousands and thousands of views. Travis Chambers is another one. And I'm wondering if the video people are going to get access to it first.
Yeah, that makes sense. Guys like you probably should get it first because you've already got the setup. You're already kind of ready. You're doing it. It's more professional. I think of David Foster and Laria Petrucci with Live Streaming Pros.
Sure.
They're the guys who ought to get it first. That way it looks good, because the worst thing will be is like giving it to Joe Schmo, who's a project manager on a construction site, and he doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't have a phone.
Hopefully they give it to somebody. Yeah. He's got an old flip phone.
An executive.
He doesn't ever log in
with a jitterbug. He's now it's a flip phone. But you like LinkedIn. You're a LinkedIn guy. You believe that LinkedIn is a good Good
I
network.
do. And you know what's funny is if you ask people have asked me one time, how'd you get into social media? Well, I was a MySpace nut for one, but
Yeah, for sure.
LinkedIn was the first place where I got the aha moment that I could do business on social media. I was moving cars for a living. I was an auto shipping broker.
Wow.
In Houston. Our main customers are like businesses who had, salesmen or people who bought cars on eBay, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And a guy named Gary Remy in Houston happens to watch this. He's like, dude, you got to get on LinkedIn. You're going to find tons of business on it. I'm like, whatever. And I got on it, and I got so many of my clients in that industry
Really?
from LinkedIn just by contacting and connect, because nobody in my industry was hustling on LinkedIn.
Right.
And so I just went crazy with it. And that moment, I can remember the moment actually. I got addicted to social media marketing because of LinkedIn. And it's still around today. And I still love the focus that it seems that LinkedIn still has. So that's why I'm worried about video a little bit, because it lose its focus,
right,
of being that sort of industry platform, depending on what industry you're in. But I still love their interface. I love their mobile app better than Facebook.
About that. Yeah, you were saying that you really love the mobile app. How many of you watching right now, live or on the replay, use the mobile app on LinkedIn? I know for me at first it was challenging. I was getting these texts back from an old colleague, a colleague I didn't particularly care for, but it's so fast, and I'm like, what is going on with this LinkedIn? And I guess there was an update, and I didn't know, and I started to really enjoy the chat feature or the messaging feature.
Right. The only thing I don't like about LinkedIn is I had my 2-year anniversary, as we call it, Agoraversaries at Agora Pulse, and I got all those, canned messages, happy anniversary, work anniversary.
Yeah.
I hate that stuff because it's like that forced engagement. So I wish they'd get rid of that, or the birthday thing you get from a lot of people. But other than that, the ability to go in and connect, like I run an office from a guy next door who does the construction industry recruiting. Yeah. And I helped him out some. So I connected to a bunch of project managers and got into the construction industry real quick with a bunch of people. And kind of, be like, oh, this guy must know what he's doing. He's got a lot of connections. And so I love that you can kind of laser focus in a market or in an industry with it. You can't do that on Facebook. It's around your friends and there's groups. Yeah. But your industry, your career is not necessarily focused on Facebook where LinkedIn is.
Yeah, I'd love to know from our audience this is our question of the day, by the way. Can we put that up? Our question of the day is, how important is LinkedIn to your business? We would love to hear from you guys in the comment section, whether you're watching us live on Facebook or live on YouTube. Remember, if you're watching us on Facebook, you can type 5 into the comment section to subscribe to the show, just as Henrik Nordenstedt just did. Good to see you, Henrik. Glad you're out there. Robert C. Stern is logging in. He's saying 80% of the time I am on the LinkedIn mobile app, including my videos. So Robert Stern is uploading videos to he's saying, I love LinkedIn, lots of business from it. That's exciting. How many of you guys are getting business from LinkedIn? I don't think I've ever gotten a business deal from LinkedIn. Facebook, I crush. I've even got a deal on Snapchat, believe it or not. I posted a thing about a video website procedure that we do and got hired right there. Now, it was from a guy who knew me. He already knew me, but I think that counts still. I think that counts. I never got business from LinkedIn, but I always got people wanting to talk about business, right? And it's always like looky-loo and touchy-feel and all this stuff, and never really materializing. And I am a great salesperson, folks, in case y'all were wondering. Jason's laughing over here in the background.
You can sell ice and Eskimo. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, what does he say, Tommy Boy? I could sell ketchup popsicles to a woman in white gloves. I never had a dad. That's a David
Tommy
Spade
Boy. I love that movie.
Yeah, great flick there. Jeff C's logging in, says this is a great topic. Can't wait to see the results of the experiment. And Christopher Fresh, hey, you guys want to see a cool show, follow Christopher Fresh and see what he's doing. He's a great live streamer talking to businesses about sales and marketing. Christopher Fresh is saying, it's probably extremely important, LinkedIn, but I've never taken the time to learn it. Interesting point there. Is LinkedIn hard to learn, Scott?
I mean, it's like any site. If you haven't been on it in a while, you're kind of lost. It's like if you go to IKEA. I'm in Texas where there's lots of IKEAs. I went in the Houston one for years. moved closer to Austin. I went to the Austin IKEA, and I was lost. Like, where is it at? I just went to cinnamon rolls. But it's like any site. You once you figure it out, you're like, oh, okay, I know where the chairs are at now. I know the shortcut to get over there to it. So it's the same thing with the social sites, and you just got to hop in it, figure out what the conversation is like, and it is completely different on LinkedIn, which is part of our topic today. And so I think you just got to figure it out. We'll see what others in your industry are doing.
Right.
But I like it. I abuse it and don't use it enough. I forget about it often because there's not enough cat memes, I think.
Yeah.
And so I have to remember to go back over to it sometimes. Yeah. But recently, though, because of new abilities with video and posting video and stuff, I'm more interested in going over there now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I've noticed that it's a lot younger looking now, at least in my industry, in the video industry, and I'm starting to wonder, should I be posting video? Should I post live video, text types? What really performs on LinkedIn? That's exactly the topic of today's show, and we're going to dig into it. We're going to bring on LinkedIn expert Melanie Dodaro to talk about some real data behind the post types that perform best on LinkedIn. But first, we need to talk about your LinkedIn and your other social media because, wow, what a mess. You got comments that haven't been responded to. You have posts that haven't been scheduled out, blog posts that haven't even been entered in. Social media is hard to manage. How do you manage it all? Well, Erin Giefer is an agency owner, and she has solved this social media problem. Let's see how she solved it with agorapulse.com.
My name is Erin Giefer. I own Catalyst Communications in Missoula, Montana. We manage social media for large and small brands that we believe in. Initially, I was drawn to AgoraPulse because of the awesome reviews online. And when I started a free trial, I found that the customer service was exceptional and people got back to me right away. As time went on, I found that I love the reporting in AgoraPulse, and I love how easily the listening tool helps me choose the right influencers for my brands. I actually can't say enough great things about the reporting with AgoraPulse. I feel like that is my job security every month. Sometimes my clients aren't that active on social media, which is why they have me manage their profiles for them. And when they get that report, it verifies that they're making a good investment, and it shows the engagement, it shows the people that they're interacting with, and it gives them something tangible that they can look at so that they know that they're making a good investment. I feel like I have an entire social media company right on my laptop. I have a MacBook Air, it's 3 pounds, and anywhere that I can flip that open, I have a social media management company, thanks to Agora. The fact that I can manage all of my team members, all of my clients, access reports, do the listening tools just in one spot is great.
Love me some agorapulse.com. Guys, go down to agorapulse.com. Get your free trial today. You will love it. All of my social media and YouTube friends that I turn on to AgoraPulse, they love it, and I think you're going to love it too. If you're just joining us, you're watching the Social Media Lab Live. My voice is cracking. I'm Owen Video, marketing coach and live host extraordinaire, and I'm here with content media scientist. I do that every week. Content scientist and social media expert Scott Ayres. We're talking about what post types work best on LinkedIn. If you like this topic and other topics like it, type 5 into the comment section. That's right. Give me 5. And you will subscribe to the show. Hey, our guest today is Melanie Dodaro. It's so funny. How many times I confirm it, and then Our guest today is Melanie Dodaro. She's going to share with us some insights on the top LinkedIn post types. Now, that's literally what's working on LinkedIn. Is this live video going to be a good move? Is video posts a good move? Are text images? What is working best for her and for her clients? Melanie is a #1 best-selling author of LinkedIn Unlocked and the LinkedIn Code. She provides consulting, training, and advisory services to help B2B organizations navigate and master the digital sales and marketing ecosystem. Melanie, welcome to Social Media Lab Live. Great to have you here.
Hey, great to be here.
So tell us a little bit more about what a LinkedIn expert. You do training, you do advising. Is this digital coursework? You do a one-on-one? Tell us what that looks like. What does your average day look like?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I have so many different diverse ideal clients. So I deal with B2B businesses, obviously, because LinkedIn's a premier platform for that. But some of them are small and some of them are big. And so if it's a big company, I'm dealing with their sales team and training them. I also train governments, which is kind of unique and interesting. Yeah. And then, the my favorite group is, the entrepreneurial group, the business owner group, because I've been a business owner for over 20 years. So I'm pretty passionate about helping small businesses grow and thrive.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Scott, you and Melanie actually know each other. You collaborated on a project. Is that correct?
Yeah, and first, can we just comment that all of us have like great headpieces going on today? Like we didn't plan this either. It's typically just me wearing something, and Owen's got the beanie on. Melanie's got this sweet looking hat on. So yeah, should that be like a requirement now for all of our guests? Like you have to wear a hat or a wig? Or
This could be a show where we introduce like fashion, like
Right.
upperwear fashion into the ecosphere. For me, I don't know about you guys. It is pouring rain. It is Gilligan Island style rain out here in California, and so we just got our flash flood warnings and everything. So it's chilly. It's a little bit chilly. How about you guys?
Owen, you just dated yourself so badly with that Gilligan's Island.
Because I love Nick at Night. Like I'll watch I Love Lucy. In fact, I'll tell you what, what's on my Hulu right now is the best of Charlie Chaplin. I love watching sort of this golden era of TV. It's something that it reminds me a little bit of my upbringing, watching those reruns in the morning. So we're stoked to have you here, Melanie, and we're stoked to hear more about these LinkedIn post types. Now, Scott, you and Melanie worked together on a big project, right?
Yeah, Melanie actually approached us about, hey, I've been seeing something on my LinkedIn account, on the post types performance. And so we teamed up to test, what sort of post type did best on LinkedIn as far as the views or impressions, depending on how you look at the data from there. Because she was seeing something completely different, right, Melanie, than you would see on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's an interesting test. Go ahead.
Yeah, and LinkedIn overall is interesting. It's really interesting because if you try to make sense out of LinkedIn from Facebook, you'll get lost. For example, we know what tends to do well on Facebook. You throw up any kind of personal pictures, selfies, food, cat memes. They go crazy. You put something about business, and it's crickets. Nobody's interested in anything business related.
That's true. Yeah, because it's so personal. Facebook is kind of about your life and kind of what you're doing. So is Instagram for the most part. Ads have to come into play to get it. Where LinkedIn, it's all about talking about your accomplishments in your business, in your industry, whatever it might be. And so, yeah, definitely different. So yeah, it was cool to kind of team up on this and kind of talk about the different post types.
And
go ahead. I heard Owen. I can't see Owen. I heard him. There he is.
We're working on the step over feature, folks. It's like today we were testing how often we could step on each other. Today, we're up to 3 times right now. So we're going to dig into the meat of this report today. A lot of really juicy information. So if you're a marketer and you know marketers, business owners in the space, tag them in the comment section now. Tell them at 9:20. This is a great time to come into the show or share this video on your timeline right now. But first, it's time for a little trivia. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is your chance, you and our live audience on Facebook and YouTube, to win fantastic prizes from our sponsors at agorapulse.com. In this trivia section, our guest will ask you a question, and you have got to type your answer in the comment section, and Scott will randomly pick a winner for today's prize. Scott, what is our prize for today?
Today's prize is an Agora Pulse t-shirt. I don't have one on to show you, but it's a cool black shirt with the Agora Pulse logo across it. We'll ship it straight to you. And it's not been worn by Owen yet, so it's a brand new shirt.
I actually think those are the grand prizes, the shirts that have been won by me. That's the grand prize. After you win 4 regular shirts, then you get an Owen video worn worn shirt. So, Melanie, will you ask our trivia question today?
I sure will.
Awesome. All right, so let's put the trivia on the screen. Folks, get ready. Melanie, what is our trivia question for today?
Yeah, in what city is the LinkedIn headquarters located?
And your options are Mountain View, California. Is it Boston, Massachusetts, San Diego, California, or Sunnyvale, California? Put your answers in the comment section right now. Scott's going to pick a winner in just one moment.
We have to keep dancing.
I love the jingle. I know. I love it. I love the it's like a perfect, and the fact that we don't have to pay for that. And like that's like legal stuff to use. So I love it. It makes our show a little bit more valuable. All right. So our question is, in what city is LinkedIn headquarters located? Answers are starting to roll in. Christopher Fresh, Robert Cern, they are answering. Scott, pick us a winner. Who is the winner of the brand new Agorapulse t-shirt today?
The correct answer is Sunnyvale, even though it is a little controversial. Google LinkedIn headquarters. It'll come up Sunnyvale. And so we're going to give that t-shirt to Christopher Fresh. So Christopher, make sure you email me, scott@agorapulse.com, with all your address and t-shirt size, and I'll get it over to you. Actually, I won't. I'll make Mike Alton do it. He'll get it over to you.
Mike Alton, get ready to mail Christopher Fresh a t-shirt. Guys, thanks for playing social media trivia on Social Media Lab Live. Okay, let's dig into the LinkedIn study here today. You know, like in all of the studies that you do on Social Media Lab Live, Scott, you get very scientific, and you always start with a hypothesis. That's an educated guess of what's going to happen. So talk to us first about the hypothesis that you came up with for this particular study.
Yeah, my hypothesis on this one was that text-only updates on LinkedIn will have the lowest amount of views. And I really base that on just being a Facebook addict, and text updates on Facebook are awful. And so that's what I base this hypothesis on for this study.
That's fantastic. Now, at what point did Melanie come into the study?
Before we started, actually, because she handed over some data of her own, and we started looking at going, ooh, and so we started comparing it to our own. And what I did is I went out there, we had her data. She actually gave us some data from her post, showing her engagement on different post types, on photos, on links, and on text. And then so we used my personal account, like I mentioned earlier, the Agorapulse account. And then, of course, Melanie had hers. And we posted a lot of different updates to it, trying to see what the impressions or views. Like I said, they showed a little bit different depending on if you're on a personal account or a business account, but they're basically the same. And so we wanted to see what the difference would be if there were anything. And granted, like I said, my guess was, text only would be awful because, elsewhere, no one really cares about those. And so we went through a time period of testing it and pulling the data. And then when I saw the data originally, I was like, this has got to be wrong. So I posted again, a couple more posts just to kind of see. And I was quite surprised to see how it all lined out.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into some of the results of that. Did we lose Melanie? Is Melanie still with us? Yeah, let's bring Melanie back in so that we can have the expert sort of lay in here. Melanie, what are your thoughts on text-only posts, right? It was Scott's hypothesis here that a text-only post would not perform very well. What are your thoughts on text posts in LinkedIn?
Well, I knew from the beginning of the experiment that text was going to win. And that's just because I saw it myself with, obviously I'm an active LinkedIn user. And text-based posts would do significantly better, not just a little better, significantly better.
Oh, wow.
And it's for a number of reasons. So, when you think about, if you want to do a comparison of Facebook and Facebook and LinkedIn, because I think those are the two closest competitors and, examples, right? Twitter's got a totally different model, but Facebook and LinkedIn have so many similarities in terms of, structure of posts and all that. In LinkedIn, people aren't interested in the silly memes and the kind of graphics and the stuff like that. The stuff that goes viral on Facebook,
right,
doesn't necessarily go viral on LinkedIn unless it's really smart and business related, because people really come into LinkedIn with a business focus. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that something that's non-business related can't get some traction. It certainly can. But people are always inside of LinkedIn with a mindset to learn, to grow, to further their career or further their business. So that they're very, very focused on that. Where on Facebook, people almost don't even have a purpose of being on it, right? It's like, oh, let's scroll endlessly and see what my friends and family are doing, and maybe see what some other people are doing.
Yeah.
It's not like that on LinkedIn.
I talk about, Facebook is sort of a place where you go for everything. You're going to see videos from the baby, articles from the news, images from this. It's kind of like what is this hodgepodge, whereas I think what you're saying is LinkedIn is a more purposeful destination. And so you've got some real specific users there. Scott, what did you find out about the users on LinkedIn? What are some of the additional facts about LinkedIn that you discovered in your research?
What I think the user, like I think Melanie was talking about, the user sentiment is so different over there. I mean, I go to Facebook to argue about politics and, see whose baby was born, where I want to be so about the topic and so conversational on LinkedIn. So the data, I think we can jump into the data here. Just to clarify a little bit, it wasn't just like one or two posts on each account. I used my personal account and there was 37 posts looked at. Agora Pulse, there was 58 posts, and then Melanie's, she gave us data for 12 of her posts. So there was quite a bit of posts. We're not talking about just one or two things. That's what we don't want to do when we're talking about the data here. A lot of the stuff out there you see on this topic is like 2 posts, and then we're done with it. And so it was a lot to look at here. So and Melanie's performed better than mine in Agora Pulse, just to be quite honest, because she is the LinkedIn expert looking at all of it. And this is the cool results that she sees on her account. So if we look at her link posts, she averaged about 5,500 views, which is really what we based our hypothesis on. There's engagement you want to look at too. 5,500 views on her link post with 45 likes. Photos had 5,700 views and 96 likes. So it was actually better than the links. But then you go to the text post, and this is just ridiculous. It was like 68,000 views on average with 156 likes on average.
Wow.
On her post. And so if we take Agora Pulse, we took mine and took hers. And the reason we did that is if I just looked at hers, she may just be an anomaly. It may just be that she's the person who's this LinkedIn expert. It may or may not be true. And so we took mine, we took Agora Pulse, and we averaged them all together. And the link post averaged 57.95 for the views.
Wow. Photos
averaged 59.98. And then text averaged 68,957 views across all of them. So it was a massive, massive difference when you come to, if you put that into a number, that you can kind of, I don't know how you even, we do this a lot on sometimes in the lab, is the percentage difference comes up and you're like, this can't be accurate. It was 1,069% higher views on the text only post as opposed to the other post types. So obviously I was wrong in my hypothesis, and Melanie proved me wrong. And text updates way outperformed the other post types.
Now, I did notice in those 2 different post types, and Jason, you want to show those up on the screen again. These are the post types that we're talking about, folks. One is an image post. We've got a link in there, and the other one is a text-based post with 122,000 views. Melanie Dodaro, does the link in the post matter? Did that, how much did it matter? Talk about that.
Yeah, significantly. So that example of the link post was that was probably an example of it just being published, because it certainly, after being published for a little while, had a lot more views and traction than that. But the key here is anything to do with a link is going to get minimal traction. And that's because LinkedIn, like Facebook, like YouTube, like every channel, does not want you to send traffic off of their channel or their platform. And so they will minimize it. So I will share a little ninja trick if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Love it.
So there's 2 types of ways to share a link post. One is the traditional way. You add your copy that you're going to write, the link's in there, and then the link populates with the image of it and the title of the post, and then you click on it, right? That's a traditional link post. that's going to get very low traction because it immediately LinkedIn recognizes that it's a link post. Now, you can trick LinkedIn into believing that a link post is not a link post. Did you know that, Scott?
I didn't know that. So
No?
go on. I'm waiting. I'm like leaning into the camera, like, come on.
So you trick LinkedIn into not realizing it's a link post by when you create the post rather, and you have the link in there, LinkedIn's automatically going to populate that box at the bottom, right? You click the little X, get rid of the box, and now it's just a link within the post. Even though it's still technically a link post, LinkedIn doesn't know it's a link post.
Wow.
So typically on my posts, what I'll do is each week, I always share my blog post of the week, and I'll share it two ways. I'll share it as a traditional link post because, of course, it looks more attractive that way, right? We've got the blog post graphic. It's more visually appealing and grabs attention more. But I know it's just not going to get the same level of traction. So I do that, and then a day or so later, I'll post it again, and now I'll post it as a non-link post with the link, hidden in there, but not letting LinkedIn realize that it's a link post. So the image goes away, the title goes away, and that link just becomes, a little link inside the actual text-based post. So it looks like a text-based post.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a sound effect to work. Fantastic. That's a great tip. Hey, guys, if you enjoyed that social media tip, share this video on your timeline right now. Invite your friends to come join us for a fantastic conversation with two social media experts and a really, really good-looking host. Now, one of the questions I wanted to ask about this particular test, guys, is does the diversity of your posts matter? Like, for example, people are used to seeing from Melanie text posts, or one would assume, right, a text post more often, so they're more likely to engage with it. Is it a nice diversity? Did you release a text post at the right time because they're used to seeing image posts? Could any of these outliers have affected the outcome in this particular study?
What we did on this post, at least for the post that I did for my account and for Agorapulse, we mixed it up. We didn't post them at the same time, every one. That way I can try to take out those anomalies. So yeah, those could come into play. I mean, and Melanie might be able to speak to this. If you've posted the same sort of content all the time, people will get used to it. But for the test, we always make sure to mix them up. So like right now I'm actually testing video on LinkedIn right now.
That's great.
And we're posting it via Agorapulse because we can actually post video. You can schedule video via Agorapulse now on LinkedIn.
That's so exciting.
And so I'm actually testing it, but I'm doing it day and night. So I'm doing some in the morning, some at night. That way there's nobody going, oh, well, it's always the morning. And so we mix it up. So Melanie, what do you think on that? I mean, does your audience get really, really used to it and they post something else? It's like weird.
No, not at all. In fact, I think it's really important to have a variety of different posts, for a number of reasons. You can't make the assumption that the people that are following you are only interested in one type of post. And we know that we have different types of learners out there. We have the visuals and the auditory and then we have people that like images and people that like videos. For example, I'm one of those people that doesn't like videos. Owen, I know you're going to have something to say about that. I'll only watch videos until I know that it's somebody who's I think is just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And their content is so good that I know that they never waste my time.
Any examples?
Because I don't like.
Are there any examples of that on LinkedIn right now? Video creators that you particularly, or are you still looking?
Yeah. So I'm not even talking about video on LinkedIn.
Just video in general.
Just video in general. Yeah. Like I've always just been like that. And so live streams, I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Live streams, I just don't watch.
Okay.
Ever.
Will you watch them on LinkedIn though?
Exactly.
Well,
will you watch them on LinkedIn?
I will watch them. I will only watch them. And I would probably watch them more likely on LinkedIn if they're done by people who keep it all business.
Right.
So the reason I don't like live streams is, so I'm like the perfect LinkedIn member, right?
Okay.
My personality fits LinkedIn so perfectly.
Okay.
It's why I specialize in LinkedIn, because I'm all business, right? I'm like, I don't want to play, and I don't want to look at stupid pictures of this. And, I don't want to know what anybody's had for lunch. And, I just want, like, if I'm not going to learn something, if I'm not going to get something from something, it's just totally a waste of my time. Unless, of course, it's a friend or a family situation, and that's different. So with LinkedIn, if somebody gets to the point of what it is that they're teaching or explaining or educating, or a cool story that's going to share a lesson, then that's great. I'll pay attention to it. But I find that a lot of the live streams out there, there's a lot of rambling that goes on.
Right.
A lot of back and forth between the co-hosts, kind of joking around, talking about what they did for the weekend and blah, 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 blah. And I'm already gone.
Yeah.
So...
Now, were you much of like a radio person? Were you ever a radio person, like a morning talk show? I know I've listened to radio talk shows my whole life, and I see that live stream and radio is so similar. Did you ever listen to radio shows at all, Melanie?
Not radio shows, no, just radio.
yeah, sure. The music.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. And for you folks listening, you might want to mark that 36-minute mark to share with your clients, okay? Because at 9:36 on the dot, Melanie just started talking about the perfect LinkedIn user, and I couldn't agree more. It's, I think, why I am challenged by LinkedIn, because the video content that I see on LinkedIn, except for a couple people, is, and I'm talking about Valuetainment, Patrick Bet-David, really love his content, all business. A lot of it can be really silly. Okay, and a lot of it can be kind of like the extension of maybe Instagram and Facebook with some business salt on it, right? And some professional salt and pepper on it to sort of season it up. I like video more, I think, than you do, Melanie, but I still, like you, I want to make sure that I'm kind of getting into, I'm not trying to be entertained. Like I said, if I want to be entertained, I got Nick at Night. Right, I mean, yeah, I've got Bob Denver is going to keep me up at nights. You know what I mean? So
people are Googling who Bob Denver is because they don't know who that is. Yeah. I thought John Denver was on there. Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, I know,
High,
right? With Rocky Mountain High. Are you sure? Are you sure? So it's very, very interesting information. I want to say what's up to Chris Strub logging in. Great to see you, Chris. I want to ask you in the audience, how do you feel about LinkedIn Live? Is this something you're going to watch? It's definitely something that's going to drive me back to the platform. Melanie, Scott, what are your thoughts on how LinkedIn Live will perform? Now, we know your opinions on it, and I think I know where you're going to go. LinkedIn is trying to reach a younger audience. I think we could put that out there. How well do you think LinkedIn Live is going to perform platform-wide? I'd love to hear from Melanie and Scott on this.
So for me, I think it's going to be fantastic. It's a great tool. I'm super excited about it. The downside of it is that it's going to take forever before they roll it out.
Interesting.
Right now there's very few people, and then there will be a few more people, and literally before the masses, you and I get it, it's going to be 12 to 18 months. This is not anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's literally going to be, they are the slowest company in the world when it comes to rolling things out. Took me over a year to get video after everybody else already had video.
Wow.
So, I think it's going to be great, though. As we know, video is such an effective tool for like humanizing an individual and a brand, and live video does an even better job at that. It's going to be great to get people to tune in right now, right? So like if it's a video that's in the news feed, they're like, oh, well, yeah, I'll go see that later. There's no scarcity or anything, but this is live. Like I can actually engage, maybe ask a question. I'm going to jump in. So I think that it's going to inspire people to basically jump in. And of course, it's going to enable you to grow your follower base a lot more, because people are going to learn a substantial amount more than they would about a text-based post, right? Yeah. Like how many people really know me on LinkedIn that are followers of me with just my text-based posts? Now, if they followed me through, my blog posts or webinars or videos, because I do videos, then they know me better. But, it totally takes things to the next level. But I see some cons, and I actually wrote about this yesterday. There's some concerns that I have. And the concern is that people that are primarily Facebook users are going to go to LinkedIn because this has already happened.
Mm-hmm.
So as Facebook has kind of decreased over the course of the last year, there's a ton of Facebook users that have really moved over to LinkedIn and are really trying to leverage LinkedIn, but they're doing it the way that they did it with Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's not working for them.
Okay.
Okay. And so a lot of people on LinkedIn, I think, are going to people that are more Facebook inclined are going to go to LinkedIn and they're going to live stream on LinkedIn the way that they would on Facebook. And I think it'll be a disaster. It'll be a disaster for them in a couple of ways. One, I think it's going to hurt them more than it's going to help them for sure. It's also going to be a disaster for the platform as a whole, because as people start seeing silly live streams on LinkedIn, they're going to ignore all of them or most of them. Yeah. So, I mean, this happens with everything. As soon as marketers come in and take over, or, any kind of unsavory,
we ruin everything.
Yeah. As Gary Vee so famously stated, marketers ruin everything. Interesting insights, Melanie. Very, very fascinating, educated, talented. Excited to hear more. Scott Ayres, your thoughts. LinkedIn Live is going to be great. What are your thoughts on the platform as a whole? Predictions?
I'm with Melanie on this. I think it's going to be who uses it first, who uses it the right way. And I like what Chris Strubb said in the comments is it's like every other live streaming platform. It's only as good as the strategy and the energy you put forth. So if people are just doing it kind of willy-nilly and putting out horrible content, it's gonna bomb. And if it is just a bunch of entertainment sort of stuff, I do think it will flop as well. But I think the right business, I think of a Gary Vee. You just mentioned Gary Vee. He does LinkedIn well, I think, for the most part. And it's some of the same content, but he has published it a little bit different over there, and he's appealing different to different people. So I think of some bigger names who are experts in it and have a good following, show people the right way to use it. I think it can do well. But yeah, it's all the people run to Facebook. I'm one of those guys because I'm a little bit kind of like with Facebook lately. I actually unliked 1,000 pages in the last 6 months and unfriended a bunch of people. I don't even allow people to publicly follow me anymore on Facebook. And so I went back to LinkedIn because I was just kind of, turned off by Facebook and all the arguing that has gone on in the last 2 or 3 years on there. And so I think if we apply, like you just said, Melanie, if we apply our thoughts of what LinkedIn should be based on Facebook, it's going to be a flop. And so hopefully that doesn't happen. So maybe even though 12 to 18 months scares us as marketers because we want it right now. They announced it, like 2 days ago, and we're all like, give me. Right. I think if it does take long, that's probably a good thing because that keeps all of us who are shiny object type people away from it in the beginning and lets the right people use it first.
I prefer the term.
I knew about.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I knew about LinkedIn Live for almost 2 years now.
Wow.
I was under NDA. I couldn't talk about it. So I've known it's been coming for 2 years. However, I was told almost 2 years ago that it was coming in 6 months. And it's now been 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and they're only at beta. So literally, it could be 12, 18 months minimum.
Yeah.
I say minimum.
Reminds me of my waiter at the Steak and Shake last night. Like, I put your order in. I put it in. Oh, my goodness gracious. Fantastic information, predictions, advice here with Melanie Dodaro, LinkedIn expert and content scientist Scott Ayres. I'd love to know your thoughts watching us live on Facebook or on YouTube. Will LinkedIn live video be a part of your 2009 business strategy? I know for me, I'm very excited about LinkedIn Live. I'm very excited about doing business style content. I almost feel like my time has come. Like I've been doing business content for so long, and YouTube and Facebook are not the best environments for that. So I'm excited to see what that's going to do for us. Want to give it up to Robert C. Stern, who has been watching since the beginning. Robert C. Stern is saying they actually tried live video 2 years ago. Chris Strubb is saying hashtag NDA life. That's hilarious. Chris Strubb is saying, I think LinkedIn knows that and is partnering with third-party apps in advance to increase the quality of the content. I like to hear things like that. Naomi Nakashima is saying, I prefer reading all over video almost every time. So it's an interesting point.
And she leaves that comment on the video, though, so it's a little ironic.
Oh,
That is ironic. That is ironic.
Just
but
saying,
I'll tell
Naomi.
you, I'm a reader too.
yeah, that's
So I
fantastic.
can relate to.
That's fantastic. And there's a market there for it. And based on the facts, the social media science that you two dug into, we now know post types are going to be more effective on LinkedIn right now, but what will be the case in the next few months? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed the show today, type 5 into the comment section now. That will subscribe you to the show. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember that we're here every Thursday, 9 a.m. PST, Owen Video and Scott Ayres, your content scientist. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.